Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth and this is The Joyful Sojourn. We're a community of people that love stationery and planning and doing things creatively on paper. And if that sounds like your kind of community, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. You are tuning in the middle of my planner lookbook series, which is something I do every fall. I preview, flip through, review as many planners as possible for the upcoming year. So we are focusing today on Day Designer. I've got two different layouts and two different sizes of their planners for 2026. And my goal in this series is just to show you a lot of the planners that are out there exclusively online and that you can't find in a brick and mortar so that you can decide what's going to work best for you. So I never want you to feel like you need to buy all of the planners I show, because at this point, this is going to be the largest lookbook series I've ever done. We're going to have at least, I want to say, we're going on maybe 20 brands I'll be showing over the course of the fall. So please take all this information and use it as a tool to figure out what's in your price point, what shipping costs will be. If I have a discount code, is that going to help you out? And then just what layouts are going to be most beneficial for your life, because these planners are meant to be tools for getting things organized, but also tools for creativity. So today, again, is Day Designer. These were actually, I was going to say these were sent to me, which is partially true. One of them was sent to me for review. The other I purchased. So basically both. One I purchased, one was sent to me for review, and let's dive in. First of all, this is the first time I've ever had Day Designer on my channel, and I'm blown away by the packaging. So you definitely get what you pay for here. The full size planners are going to be $68. The mini is $58, and the whole experience, I haven't even opened this yet, but let's just take a look at this packaging. If you're someone that likes to gift planners, Day Designer is going to be incredibly impressive because it comes, I think this is one round of box it. I think there's a box in a box, but we'll see. But here's the packaging. On the side, you can see what the planner is going to be. This is going to be the mini Hampton. It's navy. I don't know why it says Blavy, but it's Bookcloth cover. And then in the full size or regular size, we have Latte, which is a pebbled, like faux pebbled leather finish. So really excited to check that out. Let's open up the mini first. I don't remember which layout is which, so we'll start with the mini, and I need to figure out, how do we open this thing? Okay, here we go. So this is what you will receive. Open it up. Oh man, I mean, this is like luxurious. Check that out. Amazing. Day Designer is a simple and easy system created to help you find balance, focus, and productivity. We're on a mission to get you organized and on your way to living an intentional, meaningful, and well-designed life. Okay, so not only is this packaging stunning, but check out the box in the box that the planner actually comes in. Okay, well, first of all, I'm definitely keeping this. So here is the back. We've got the Day Designer logo. This is incredible. Holy moly. So again, we have what the planner is on the side, but check this out. So cool. I'm sure many of you have seen Day Designer packaging before, but I haven't. So this whole experience is new to me. Actually, I think what we should do is open both of them so we can do some size comparisons. But we've got information about their kind of strategic system for planning. And we've got a little information card. This is really just to encourage us to show your order on social media. Let's open this guy up. I wanted to make sure I had both sizes, both layouts, and two different cover materials, which is why I purchased one on top of the one that they were sending me. Oh my gosh, got a little bit of some fuzzies, but wow. That book cloth material is lovely. Wow. A little bit of paper on there, but nothing that we can't push off. So here is the navy book cloth. Wow, that is really beautiful. Let's open up the other one and then we'll flip through both of them. But let's open up this guy as well. Same packaging. Amazing. this guy out. Highly giftable and very protected. Appreciate that. Man, the box drawer situation is sexy. That is a nice box. Now my desk is covered in boxes. Move the papers out. Oh boy. Oh, this isn't as textured as I was expecting. So first impression, there's nothing wrong with it, but when you look on the website and you're looking at the Caramel Latte cover, to me on the website, it looked more pebbled, and this still feels a little blue. I mean, smooth. Again, not a criticism, but if you are shopping on the website and you're wondering what it feels like, you guys know I like to be thorough. It is definitely a little bit more on the smooth side, but the look of it is pebbled. So size comparison, words, friends, size comparison. This is the mini. She's thick. I think this is the daily. And then here is the just regular full size. I'm gonna put these next to each other. Let's talk measurements. The full size, the page dimensions, 7.3 by 9.5. And if you want to compare it to like an Erin Condren, standard Erin Condren is a 7 by 9. So it is a little bit larger than your standard 7 by 9 Erin Condren. The mini size, the page size is 6 inches by 8.125. So 6 by 8.125. And I think for most of us, we might be curious about how that compares maybe to an A5 size. So here's an A5 notebook from Archer and Olive. And it's a little bit bigger than, like, little bit bigger than an A5 size. So really it's going to come down to the measurements are a little bit different, but are you a 7 by 9 person or are you an A5 person? That's probably the easiest way to summarize the size difference. And here you can see it as well. Looks like the coil diameter is larger on this daily, which makes sense. So the size of your coil is going to vary based on the type of planner that you pick. Let's start with the mini, which is the daily planner. And I've started incorporating daily planning into my life. So I'm excited to see what they have to offer. Make sure we are all in frame here. All right, so daily day designer in the mini size with the navy book cloth cover. And the cost on this one is $58. I looked up what type of paper they use, and they use white, about 100 pound or 100, excuse me, not 100 pound, 100 GSM. If you are looking at the A5 inserts, so they do have inserts for like binders, they use a heavier paper. I don't know what it is exactly, but the A5 inserts are going to be a slightly thicker paper than the 100 GSM. Okay, so inside of the daily planner, we have a pocket folder here. I love when there are pocket folders. And then we have 2 sheets of stickers. These are functional stickers with headers, very handy. Looks like they're paper, but they do have a bit of a gloss on them and silver foiling. So very helpful and functional to do meeting, party, vacation, me time, grateful, exercise, birthday, payday, big day, due today, don't forget, and then a bunch of icons, airplane, check mark. I've got some like header stickers, some flags, hearts, and stars. So stickers we can pop in here. We have a like protector page here that you can just rip out if you want to, or you can decorate it if you want to have maybe like an inside home cover, vision board, that kind of situation you can put on this page. Then we have our welcome page. Oh, this is my first time feeling Day Designer paper. I've seen Day Designer for Blue Sky at Target, and this is definitely like their flagship planners at Day Designer. So the quality of it is going to be a bit more elevated. The paper might be a heavier weight, and of course the covers are going to be hardcover versus maybe some of the like cardstock covers with like a plastic sheet over it that you might find at Target, which is going to be a little bit more budget friendly, but very similar layouts. So Day Designer, January through December 2026, the Strategic Planner and Daily Agenda for Living a Well-Designed Life. I'm guessing the same thing will be said on the weekly. What I'm excited about checking out with the weekly is Rumor on the Street. There's some daily pages in the back of the weekly. So excited to see that. And then down below, we have my word of the year. So for those of you that like to identify a word that's like your guiding light for the upcoming year, you can have this right front and center. All right, we've got the story of Day Designer, where they came from, what their goals are, and then love this. I didn't know that it came with a ruler. So this is a like a thin plastic ruler that has a tab up at the top that says today. So you can pop this up here, pop it onto the coil, and then when you close it, you have a little pull tab. So I really, really love when planners come with bookmarks. So very nice that that is included. And it looks like there's a piece of plastic over it. So make sure, as I usually say with bookmarks and page finders like this, always check to see if there's a piece of plastic on the back. It does. That once you lift it up, it's going to make it more of like a glass plastic look to it. But love that. Love that that is included. And it looks like we've got basically maybe like it says 5 inches, 5-inch ruler there. We have instructions for how to use your Day Designer. I'm not going to read all of this, but if you are new to paper planning and you're new to Day Designer, it's nice that they have this here. You can take your time reading through it so that you can maximize the benefits of the design of this planner. We have a self-assessment page. So it looks like we're going to do some reflection, goal setting for the new year before we even get started. Self-assessment, where am I in life? So we've got career, social, family, chores, TV and distractions, spiritual, physical, volunteering, education, residence, entertainment, vacations, marriage, hobbies, and then a bunch of extra spaces here for areas of your life. And then you can mark very important, somewhat important, neutral, not that important, or not at all important. And you can rate where these different things are valued in your life. What is important to me? So we've got a place for your top 5 values, your top 5 strengths, and your top 5 passions. And where these 3 things intersect is your sweet spot. Okay. Then we have goals. What is important to me? So at the 3-month mark, 6-month mark, 9-month mark, and 12-month mark. So self-care, relationships, personal development, resources, and vocation. And then my plan, what steps do I take to get there? So you've got 8 goals, monthly actions for each, a weekly routine that incorporates movement towards those goals, a daily habit you can incorporate, and then what progress looks like. So definitely some goal setting pages here. Then we have the ideal month, making it happen. How are your goals incorporated into your ideal month? Although this, well, I guess we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Interesting that it's aligned this way. I guess you would go like this and view your ideal month like this. So I guess you would populate here the practical steps for each of your goals, like how they would be incorporated into your full month. And then we have your ideal week broken down hourly. That's kind of helpful. So if you know that one of the things that's really important to you in the new year is focusing on your physical health and moving your body, then you want to make sure in your ideal week that you are incorporating going for a walk, and you put that where that would fit into your week, and then what time of day you would be doing that. So putting goals into practical steps is a key to success. Write down the weekly routines that you need to apply each week to stay on track, whether it's 2, 3, or 5 times per week. Result is realistic yet the result is a realistic yet achievable guide, a roadmap for success. So I like that the ideal week in the context of this planner is to incorporate those small steps from the goals that you originally identified, actually getting them woven into the fabric of your week. That was all the goal setting stuff. Now we're getting into the planning stuff. This is a beautiful 2 years at a glance. I am a big fan of yearly overviews, perpetual calendars, vertical views of the year, and views like this. This particular layout is beautiful with the sans serif font. It is so clean. It's so minimalist. There is no distractions. And that is helpful for someone who needs to kind of keep it clean, and for someone that likes to color code things. So if you are a big color coding person, you can use a dot pen to mark visually dates of importance. Maybe one color is for birthdays and anniversaries. One color is for when there's no school, paydays, vacation, whatever. You can kind of use color codes to dot up the dates. And helpful having 2027 here as well. If you know dates in advance, you can mark them on 2027. And then at the end of 2026, when you're getting your new planner, you can migrate these dates into the new planner. This is really helpful, and I hope that it means there aren't tons of holidays on our monthlies, but we'll find out in just a minute. We have our list of holidays for 2026 and 2027, a vertical view of holidays, and then they give us an additional page here of additional birthdays, events, holidays, etc. that you personally observe. Now, my preference, okay, and then this is a tabbed page going into our January. My preference would be, I love this page, so I'd love to have this. I do think it's helpful to have a vertical view of the year. That is something I would like to see in this planner, but they do have the view of 2 years. They do have the holidays for 2 years. And then we have this view here for additional things. I probably would format this a little bit differently, but that is my personal preference. All right, let's get into the monthly view. This is, again, my first time seeing this. Very interesting layout for me. So I want to point out the size of the margin up at the top. I really like that. It is going to collapse your monthly spread a little bit. Your boxes are going to be a little bit smaller because they've taken up so much space up here. However, they've given us plenty of room to decorate. If you are a creative or decorative planner, you've got, this is like primo real estate up here. If you want to color in January, color code it to, or color match it to the decor you've got, you can do that by filling in January. This is like really a fun layout for decorating, because I feel like we've got room to breathe here. And remember, this is the mini size. So if this monthly is the same in the weekly, think about how much real estate you have for decorative play. You also have room up at the top if you are color coding. Maybe if you don't use stickers, you exclusively use different colored pens on your monthly. You can have a little key up here, and you've got room to mark this up here. Looks like they use flags to mark holidays. So we've got New Year's Day and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I could do without the flags, only because I say this in all my videos. This is a personal preference, so please no offense if you're someone that loves having all the holidays on all the monthlies. But I prefer to have blank monthlies just because I like to add stickers, like decorative stickers for the holidays, to the layout. And there are a lot of planners that print all the possible holidays, and half of them I don't observe, and I just end up whiting them out to, fill in the box with my own things. So the fact that it's both pre-printed and there's a flag, it's nice because your eye goes to it, and if you need to be reminded that these two holidays are here, the flags are going to call your eyes to it. So for someone that needs that, you will like that. For someone that already maybe doesn't want to have holidays on their monthlies, having the additional flag located on it is just more. So that is probably something I personally would maybe white out if it's getting in the way, or just putting a sticker over it if there's something else I want to use that box for. We have room in the margin here for additional notes, and this is a Monday start. I do not believe you have the option of changing or choosing a Monday or a Sunday start. So the other thing I want to point out, we have a Monday start, and then Saturday and Sunday is marked with really thin lines diagonally. This, I think, was very helpful because if you're used to a Sunday start and you've got your weekend split, you might get to this point and then forget what days these are. So having Saturday and Sunday at the end, and not shaded, but with diagonal lines, should help you remember that this is a Monday start and your weekend is together. I prefer these diagonal lines to shaded boxes. So I think I will be showing some planners at some point that will have shaded boxes for the weekends. And for me, it's almost like it draws your eye a little bit too much having like a totally different color. So I appreciate that it's diagonal lines. So it kind of, when you really look at it, you can see that Saturday and Sunday are split away from Monday through Friday, but it's not so aggressive being like a light gray color where it's like, okay, I get it. That's the weekend. So I like the way, if they're going to shade Saturday and Sunday, I like that Day Designer does it with the diagonal lines versus a solid line. Okay, let's get into the daily. Now, this is a very structured daily, which is great for those who need a little more instruction for how to use the layout. And what I'm going to do, just for the sake of evening this out, I'm going to actually split this. Actually, no. Let's jump actually to the middle of the planner. I just want to make sure that we are laying things out well. Okay, but let's start with this monthly here. So again, here's the monthly, and then we go into the daily. Now, June 1st, Monday, June 1st is the first daily after this monthly. I want to check. Uh-oh, this is upside down. Wow, is that on purpose? Hold on. We're figuring this out as we go. Interesting. I'm hoping this was a misprint, but the tabs, the gold tabs are correct going this way. January, February, March, April, May, June. And then when you flip it this way, this might be a misprint. They're upside down. And I don't know how many people are going to be looking at their planners from this way. So can you see how they're upside down? That might be a misprint. Wouldn't you want it to say January, February, March, etc.? I might message them and just ask, is that normal for a Day Designer planner to have the tabs flipped, essentially? But what I wanted to see was if the week ends, or if the month ends in the middle of the, so Friday, May 1st, let me go back, Thursday. Okay, so they do, it doesn't matter the week that you're in, your first day of the month will be correctly behind the appropriate months tab. So June 1st, no matter what day it is, even if it's in the middle of the week, in this case it's a Monday, it's going to be after the monthly. Sometimes they go on one side, sometimes they go on the other. It'll be interesting to see how they do that with the weekly. So Monday, June 1st, so we've got the date up here. We've got a quote row right here. It looks like the quote is going to change. I could do without the quote. I'm not sure how necessary it is, but if you're looking for some extra encouragement for the day, you do have that. This would be a nice strip to lay down some washi if you just want to add a little bit of color to the page. We have today's top 3 with little check boxes. We have a do box, a dinner box, a dollars box, and a don't forget box. Now, this is the type of structure that I could go either way on. Frankly, in this season of my life, I am curious about how much money I spend every day, or maybe how much I save every day. I think spending is probably better, but putting the amount of money I've spent each day here is just good for accountability and just to see. I'm not going to do major finance budget tracking with this kind of planner, but knowing how much money I spent every day could be an interesting data point. Don't forget, now these boxes are pretty small, so you're going to want to shorthand it. Due could be anything. It could be a bill due. It could be a phone call you need to make. It could be just something that really needs to happen. Then we have our today section. This is an hourly layout from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This is hourly, so it doesn't go to the half hour. I prefer going to the half hour. If you wanted to do that, you just would need to basically have 2 lines per section. So if you just need an hourly, this is going to be plenty. If you want it to the half hour, you're going to need to write small and split these boxes a bit more. Then we have a nice, generous to-do list. I like this. I like that it's open-ended. I like that it is clean and simple. And then down at the bottom, we have a notes section and a space for daily gratitude. I really like that. Just write something that was good about the day. something that made you smile, something as simple as getting a good parking spot at the grocery store, like little moments like that. I always say, like the hymn, tune my heart to see thy grace. Like, and that means in the small moments, like tune my eyes to the moments that may seem insignificant to most, but that are like the God winks in the day, you know, that just remind me that everything's going to be okay. That's something that you can log there. So that is the daily. Now I saw an interesting element. Here we go. So Saturday and Sunday are going to be split. So the daily, every day of the week will have its own page with the exception of the Saturday and Sunday. This layout is totally different. We have today's top 3 and then your Saturday hourly, today's top 3 and your Sunday hourly. And then down at the bottom, I think this is excellent. Excellent. In any daily that I choose for the new year, I want to have a weekly view and a daily view. The weekly view doesn't even have to be a 2-page spread. It doesn't even have to be a full 1-page spread. Something about having a place in my planner, in my daily planner, to just jot something. If I know that something's coming up next week, I don't want to forget it. I can just jump to Saturday, Sunday and write it down here so that as I'm planning live in real time on my dailies, I can go back and be like, oh yeah, I scheduled that appointment last week. When is it? So you can reference this as you get into the week. So this is pretty small for a next week, but it's plenty of space Monday through Sunday to just write down a little highlight reel of what's coming. I very much like this for just logging, like no school today, no school today. I've got a mom's group this day, and I'm having lunch with a friend on this day. I love just being able to populate this here, and then I can forget about it. And then at the end of the week, I can take what I've logged here and migrate it over to the appropriate day in the hourly time block. So what a fun little addition. I didn't know that they had a little kind of next week at a glance view. I think that is really helpful. We do have a holiday here. So it looks like not only are the banner flags in the monthly, but they will also be present in or on the day of the actual holiday. So that is marked there. I don't mind it so much on the daily. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Frankly, I'd rather have them not here and just have the text and then use the flags on the daily. That would be my preference. Having both on the monthly seems excessive, but some folks really want to know when those holidays are. So if that's you, then you are going to love that. Okay, so let's go to the end. So again, this is a 12-month daily. Kind of insane that 12-month daily is fitting on a coil of this size. It's chunky, but it doesn't feel ridiculously huge. And I wish I had like a 2-inch disc to show that the coil itself seems maybe a little bit smaller than a 2-inch disc. So if you're just kind of curious, like how thick is that? I'm guessing it's less than 2-inch diameter. So I hope that information is helpful if you're mindful of how chunky monkey a planner is. Let's go to the back. And we have here some notes pages. So there's no line of demarcation. There's no additional piece of paper or tab here. We just go straight into some notes. And interesting layout they choose for the notes. I don't mind the structure though. We've got 3 boxes up at the top, 3 header boxes, and then even the lined sections or the lined page they're columns. So these lines are going to align with this header up here. Honestly, that could make us use these note pages better. So instead of writing all the way across for all the notes, you could have, if you're brain dumping on a specific day, you could have this be a date and you're just doing let me pop this way, and move the coil a little bit. This is where the coil can get a little tricky here. Hold on. Are you not going to let me hold on itself? Hold on. There we go. Nope, she does not want to bend on itself. You're not going to be able to do that. But let me just move this up closer. This is going to be easier. So see how the line breaks when we get into the next header? Very easy to have this be brain dumping notes for one day, or for the week if you need additional planning space. I really appreciate that. This column, though, is going to be a little bit hard to write on if you can't flip it on itself. They are double-sided, so that's nice. 1, 2, 3, 3 pages of notes, and then we have just a white buffer page here in the back. No pocket folder in the back, just in the front. Okay, so that is the daily. Love to know what you guys think of the daily. Ignore all the paper. Hold on. Let me be obnoxious. I gotta say, guys, I purchased this on a whim from Amazon. It's like a little mini vacuum, like desktop vacuum thing. I use it all the time. It's one of those gadgets that you think is going to be a dust collector, but if you have a craft space or you're doing a lot with paper and you get little pieces of paper, it's kind of nice to just go boom, boom, boom. So that is the mini daily. Again, it's $58. You've got one day for every day of the year, Saturday and Sunday sharing. And again, this is, the page size is 6 by 8.125, but the actual component size is 6.625 by 8.3. And weight wise, this is 1.91 pounds. So it is just shy of 2 pounds. And dimensions wise, I do feel like you could pretty easily throw this into a bag. It is thick and it is heavy, but I think that the cover type would do well in a bag. Like, I feel like this is plenty of protection for your pages. And because it's a little bit narrower and shorter, I think you could slide it into a bag, or even like a work bag. This would probably be a good size, because when we jump over to the weekly, that is in the full size, this is 2.6 pounds. So even though this one feels chunkier because it's got more pages, the, oh, actually, that was the full size daily. No, this is definitely not 2.6 pounds. Yeah, the daily is going to be heavier. So I have the wrong information on the weight for the full size weekly. Apologies. I don't know what the weight is for this one. Let's pull this guy back out, get it lined up. So again, this is the Caramel Latte with the pebbled texture, and it is like a vegan leather. Very pretty, still hardbound. And we've got our cover up at the top, strategic planner and weekly agenda. Open this guy up. Looks like every planner, flagship planner, is going to come with, hold on, let's check the tabs. The tabs are the same on this one. That must be a thing with the tabs. And I must say, I think that's not ideal, but maybe if you're a day designer person, you're used to them being flipped that way, which is interesting. Sorry guys. It's the details. I get lost in the details. So next we have stickers. These are all exactly the same, but I'm actually curious, are they sized a little bit smaller? No, they're sized exactly the same. The difference is the sheet itself is sized to fit the larger planner pocket, but the text is the same. So if you end up getting a mini and a full size, these stickers are going to fit in both. They're the exact same size. You just get more stickers in the larger because the sheet itself is larger. Love the pocket folder in the front. I'll take one of those all day, every day. I really like the Swiss dot design on the inside. I think it's really pretty and clean. Gold coil. We've got our buffer page here. Now, this is all going to be the same, so I'm just going to slowly make my way through. Again, we have a today bookmark. Lovely. I don't think I pointed out last time, it does say day designer on the bottom. And this one has 7 inches. And we've got our today tab up at the top. Let's pop this guy, actually, just to protect it. Let's just keep it down lower. I really like that there are only 2 spaces where they connect to the coil, because these can get, I don't know, kind of cumbersome to move around, because they're meant to be moved, right? Every day you move it to the appropriate day that you're on. So I like that there aren't places where you have to connect it to the coil running the entire length of the bookmark. So we have the same intro pages for self-assessment, goal setting, breaking down your goals from a monthly perspective and a daily perspective, or monthly and weekly. One difference here, probably because of the amount of space that they have with the larger page. Here we go. The ideal week layout in the mini has morning and afternoon, so 5 a.m. down to 7 p.m. The larger one has morning, afternoon, and evening, 5 a.m., but this actually ends at midnight. So this is going to give you a much larger spot. Ooh! Okay, I'm so glad that I picked up both sizes because they feel different. They really do. So the 12-month overview in the mini, it's a mini, so they're going to make use of their space differently. So we have 2026 and 2027 with these months at a glance. In the weekly, now I don't know if it's unique to the weekly or unique to the full size. I'm willing to bet it's unique to the full size. So it's the planner size, not the layout itself, that's going to dictate what's in here. But I can, if I'm wrong, I will update the description box with that. I'll have to go onto the website and double check. But here, our 12-month overview has mini blocks. And they are Monday starts. So they, again, did the diagonal lines for Saturday and Sunday. And we have just 2026. Is that right? Yes. So, I guess they're presuming you don't, they've assumed that it's more important to have the year like this versus two abbreviated years. So we don't have 2027 at a glance. The most we have is 2027 holidays. I will go ahead and say personal preference. That makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. I would rather have a full 2026 calendar that is functional for me to color code, or why am I not wearing my, because I got my nails done. My marriage is fine, guys. I just noticed my ring is not on. I had taken it off when I got my nails done. Sorry. In case anybody's curious. Oh my gosh. Oh, suddenly feeling very naked. I like this because I can actually use it a little bit more. You can do the dots and the color coding in that other version in the mini, but here you have a little bit more room to write, and that could be helpful for someone that wants to track stuff. So if it's like your blood glucose level or your period or your steps every day, like you've got room here to actually write stuff into the boxes. I'd rather have that with the full year at a glance, have a space to write things over a full like two-page spread for the whole year than to have the smaller 2-year calendars, if that makes sense. And this is plenty having the 2027. This is where I'd probably modify it to have maybe this column be, I'd label this 2027. And then as things come up that I want to log for 2027, since we don't have it present here like we do in the mini, I would just write down things I know of for 2027 here. So this could be 2026 and this could be 2027. That's what I would do. So I'm a fan of this change for the larger planner. I think that works just fine. Okay, so we are jumping over. Oh, one other thing I want to note. Again, people will have different opinions, but I always like to highlight the details. So these tabs don't have any sort of monthly dashboard or like break space. We have planning pages on the tabs, and that's, again, going to be personal preference. Some of you don't care, but I will say it is nice to have a monthly overview, a monthly dashboard, and you don't have that with either of these planners. Even if you don't have a monthly dashboard, it's nice if the tabbed page itself was blank, so you could create one. You could create additional listing or an overview of the month, or you can just decorate it like I do in one of my other planners. So just know that you have actual calendar related things printed on your January or your monthly tabs. So here is our monthly layout, exactly the same as in the mini. Everything's just a little bit bigger. If you want to see a comparison size-wise between, let's look at the same exact month. Actually, I'm going to jump to the middle of the planner just for ease here. So let's take a look at June. So again, there is the two, and I should grab a ruler just to compare our monthlies. So your mini monthly is going to be 1 1/4 wide, and your full size monthly is going to be about 1 3/4. So there is your size difference. And actually, I'll just lay it on top like this so you can see that difference. Okay, let's keep going. So the mini was a daily. Let's take a look at what the weekly layout looks like. So here's a look at the weekly. We've got a space for the week's top 3, 1, 2, 3. So top 3 priorities, way more space here for actually working through the top 3. Whereas in the mini, you've got check boxes. Then we have a horizontal layout. I'm going to point over in this area because it's more accessible to me. But we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are split. I used to not be a fan of shared spaces for the weekend, but my lifestyle has changed. I have a child now. My work life has changed, and I don't need full page or full spaces for Saturday, Sunday. So I'm okay with this. We have a horizontal view that is split. So you've got open line space here for today, and then you have a to-do list section. So the easiest way to use a layout like this, in my opinion, is to log anything that's actually happening today goes on the left side. Appointments, changes to your child's schedule or your partner's schedule, anything that has to happen today or a calendar related thing that is happening today goes here. And then just the tasks and the get it done things go on the right side. The other thing you could do is rethink this planner as an all-in-one and have your priority or the things that are happening today, they can go up here on the line with the date. So Thursday, June 4th, you could put no school. This is my husband, Josh working till 7 p.m. Like I could put this on the line. And then in the today section, since it's just lined, I could use this for journaling. I could use this for scripture writing. I could write something about gratitude, something funny my daughter said, and actually use this as more of a memory keeping type log. And then the things that need to happen in the day go here. So I think that the layout is really clean and nice for kind of flexing the way that you want to use it. And then with Saturday and Sunday, we don't have to-do lists. We just have open lined spaces, and all of the lines are dotted lines. I think that makes for a really like elevated and not fancy, but like a more sophisticated planner when the lines aren't solid. Something about having the little dots makes it feel lighter on the page. And I think it looks really, really nice. I also, I'm a huge fan of their font type. I like the sans serif. I like all caps. Sometimes I like a typewriter font in all lowercase, but when it comes to the structure of a planner, I like the sans serif all caps. So huge fan of the way that Day Designer has designed the pages themselves. So that is your weekly. Again, we're going to have a banner to note holidays on the day, which I don't mind in the weekly or in the daily. And it's just a good reminder when you're in the week and you're getting lost in all the to-dos and the notes and whatnot, it's nice to be reminded that you have holidays on these days. Also on this page, we have at the top a quote and we have additional line space. So, anything that doesn't fit in your Saturday, Sunday, because it's split, you could migrate up here and have additional space for that. Or you could relabel this next week, and then anything that you're thinking about that you have to punt to the next week, or appointments and whatnot that are coming in the next week, or you're thinking about it in the moment, you're on a phone call, scheduling something, you've got your planner open, you can just write it up here. And then you can move it into the next week if you need to. So here is your weekly. And again, ends on, this is interesting. So remember we were talking about when a month ends in the middle of the week, is that weekly or is that spread going to be on the previous month's tab or the upcoming? In the daily, it's super clean because they just have it be in the appropriate month's tab section. Here we have Sunday, June 28th, and then we're moving over to July. So it's my birthday. So we have I'm guessing, just depends on the layout, they're going to migrate it to the new month's tab. So if a new month is starting on a week, it's going to be in the upcoming. Let me re-say that. So actually we should check and see if that's true. So it's going to depend on the layout, because for June, for example, the last day of the week, Sunday, June 28th, the last full week of June is in June, and then the split week is under July. Okay, so we've got June 29th to July 5th as the first week in the July tab. August, a little bit different. August 2nd is the last day of this week, and it's still within the July tab. So it's cleaner and easier to understand in your daily, but in your weeks, it's just going to be how the planner flows, or how the weeks flow. How the weeks flow is going to be where they lie, either in the previous month's tab or in the upcoming month's tab. So in this case, very clean here. So we've got August 30th on the Sunday, and then we flip to the September tab, and August 31st is a Monday here. I think that's pretty standard for most planners. I'm just pointing it out because Plum Paper is so different in how they do it, where that week that's split is present in the previous or the outgoing months section and in the upcoming months section. And in this case, it's going to ebb and flow. It's going to go back and forth. Okay, so now we need to jump to the back, because this is where things get really interesting and why I really wanted to review a Day Designer planner on my channel, specifically the weekly layout, because I've had so many questions about what are the planners that have a monthly, a weekly, and a daily in it. And Day Designer does. Their weekly flagship does have daily pages in the weekly. However, a little bit different here, okay? At the very back of your planner, you are going to have a tab that says Today and To Do. When you flip that tab, you have undated dailies here. I don't know how many, and these aren't, well, should we just count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I don't know how many that was. 18, maybe 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, I probably counted wrong. I'm going to guess there are at least 25. I can look it up and leave it down in the description box. You're going to have at least 25 pages or 20 pages, maybe 20, and then they're double-sided. So 40, I'm going to guesstimate-ish. I'll update the description box. You have about, roughly, we'll have to see how close I am to the guess, 40-ish daily pages in the back that are undated. I like this for many reasons. One, you might be a weekly planner and not always need a daily, but there might be times when you really are stressed and you need to just break down a day. You can jump to the back and as you need it, pop into a daily and use the daily. So, and I like that they're not dated because you don't have to feel guilty when you don't use them. So I could use this guy on May 1st, and then it's not until July 15th that I use the next daily because I didn't need it between May and July. So I like that they're undated and you can bebop around whenever you need them. It would be cool if I'm right that there's about 40 pages here. I think it would be cool for them to have maybe we're going to see what these other sections are. If they had at least one daily per week of the year. So if there were 52 daily pages, that would be nice, because then you can at least know in the back of your mind, I have enough for one daily a week if I need it. So 40 is kind of an odd, 40, 42-ish is an odd number to have. It would make more sense to have 52, so you're guaranteed to have one per week if you need it. But again, you might only need 20, in which case 40 is enough. This layout is going to be, I think, exactly the same as our daily in the mini. But because this is collapsed, right, it's a smaller planner, we've got 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This is 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm willing to bet then that if you opt for the full size daily, your hourly block is going to be this and not what it was in the mini. So you're going to have more hours to do your time blocking if you get the bigger planner, which is common sense, right? So, but the layout looks the same. We've got our top three, our hourly time blocking, notes, daily gratitude, a nice chunky to-do list, do, dinner, dollars, and don't forget. And then you have a place up here to add whatever the day and the date is. I think this is a fabulous option for someone that doesn't need to buy a daily planner, but would like the option to have a daily every once in a while. And I think this is a cool tab section. I like that the more like functional notes sections in the back are a more aggressive tab. The pull experience of these bigger ones is super duper nice. And yeah, they're going to be easy to find once you've gotten through the monthlies. So big fan of this whole section to have a weekly planner with the option of dailies here. And I don't know if did I mention the paper? It's definitely toothier than plum paper, less toothy than Erin Condren paper. It is a white, like a pure white, bright white, I'd say, and 100 GSM or 100 pound. No, 100. I always do this. 100 GSM. So here are your dailies. Okay, we're going to jump over the dailies. Then we get to our notes section. And this is going to be the same that we saw in the mini, where you've got 3 columns. I don't know if I've seen notes pages in a planner like this. And I really, really like it. So this is a check mark on the positive for the day designer, because I do like that one notes page won't get wasted if you truly use the columns that they've created and these header boxes. So this could be a day's worth of brain dumping, a project's brain dumping. And yeah, you're not wasting space. Again, you might have a little bit more of a challenge though when you're getting close to the coil here. And if you needed additional, let's say you get through all of your dailies and you still need more daily space, this column could be a daily and you could write in your hourly time blocking here, and this could be the date up at the top. So there's 3 days of hourly time blocking if you wanted to format the notes pages that way. Not that many here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pages double-sided. And then we have stay on track. Interesting. Very interesting. We have an expense log for budgeting, and it's very clean and neutral. We've got date, category description, and the amount. And that's it. If you want to log your expenses. Now, if you are there's a lot of these. If you're a big time budget person, this is not going to be enough for you. You're going to want some additional space. But if you are someone that has a side hustle or a part-time job, or you are a crafting hobbyist and you want to track your purchases through the year, this is fabulous. This is just for some accountability to see how you're spending your money. Oh, this is fun. So the Stay on Track tab is definitely going to be a mix of stuff. You've got your expenses sheets, and then we have a favorites list. Books to read, movies to watch. Books to read, movies to watch. Ooh, that's really nice. Gift ideas to remember. So family, friends, hostess gifts, or other. Family, friends, hostess gifts, other. So that's repeated. We've got the recipient, the occasion, the gift idea, where to get it, and what the price is. That's kind of nice. And, you know, it doesn't take up any brain dump space or note space in your weeklies. If you pop to the back, if, you know, you see something online or someone mentions, oh man, like I really want to check out that book, while it's fresh on the mind, you can just pop into the back of this planner and write the person's name down and what they said they were interested in. So I think that's really nice. Thank you note record. Now this is pretty specialized to include in an everyday planner, but we've got occasion. So let's say it's a baby shower, your baby shower, or wedding gift, or wedding reception, birthday, whatever, from, so who the gift was from, what it was or what they did, and then did you send them a thank you? That's pretty good. I was definitely raised in a family where you write thank you notes for everything. So it is very nice to keep record of this. I know not everybody does that, but maybe we should, guys. Maybe we should log it better. Packing list. Wow, this stay on track section is chunky. Packing list. So you write down the destination, the dates of your travel, the number of the days of travel, and the number of nights. Then you've got, it's a full packing list here. Clothing and shoes. Tons of things to check off your list. Quantity, that's nice. So how many of each type of item? Accessories, toiletries, miscellaneous, if you want to add your own items, essentials, and your carry-on. And we've got we have 2 trips to plan for. Then we have an entertainment checklist. Okay, if you're throwing a party. So what the occasion is, the date and time of the event. Guests, are they RSVP'd, yes or no? Who's bringing what? Vendors or budget? Menu and drinks, so what's on the menu? Your shopping list, your to-do list, your flowers and decor, music and entertainment, and other. Got 2 pages of those, so 2 events. And then we have a 2026 bucket list. This is really nice. So you can just free form write down things to do on your bucket list. And you've got 2 pages of those. 4 pages of those. They really want us to do stuff. And then we have a buffer white page here. Wow. This is more than I was expecting. Way more than I was expecting for additional pages in the back. I would love for the daily pages to increase for 1 per week at least. And I would probably eliminate maybe 1 or 2 or a couple of these pages to make room for more of the to-dos, or excuse me, the today section. But that is just me, and what you need might be different than what I need. I'm just sharing my thoughts on all of this. I gotta say, Day Designer's nice, you guys. This is a really, really nice planner. And the way that they have designed it, it's like an all-in-one situation. You have a monthly, a weekly, pages for dailies, extra notes, and then all kinds of fun collections pages in the back to play around with. It's nice, guys. And the paper feels pretty thick as well, which is nice. It's going to come down to, when it comes to the weekly and this planner, if it's for you, is if you like a horizontal weekly, really, and if you like the split of the horizontal days. Other than that, I feel like they have included about as much as you can include on this size coil and this size planner. I think it is really nice. Now, I do want to do a pen test, and they make it so easy to do a pen test because they've given us some extra paper in the back. That has been my hesitation with some of these reviews, is I just don't want to ruin the paper in case it's something that in case it's a planner that I gift to somebody. So I've been more hesitant to do pen tests. So I'm actually going to rip this page out. Oof. And we're going to really quickly do a pen test here on this Day Designer paper. And then we will call it a video. And I will leave Day Designer linked in the description box. See all this? So satisfying. All right, now we need a variety of pens. Let's do the Sarasa. Let me zoom back out. Okay, so we have the Sarasa. I just had a bunch of pens here. I do like my Uni pen. Oh, I wanted to try a Le Pen on all of my planners. We have a Zebra Mild Liner, a Zebra Blend, a Papermate Flare. This is a Pentel Energel. It's in blue ink, but we're going to forgive it for that. Let's do a Sharpie S Gel. I'm just grabbing random pens here. This is a Klenna. And just for kicks, should we do like a darker Caliograph? Probably need a Tombow. In my reach here. Let's do a random Tombow. I think that's probably good for us to get a sense for things. My favorite is the Uniball. We could use the, I haven't opened this one yet. The Uniball P pens are some of my all-time favorite. Do I have one? could do the Calm, right? This is the Calm, 0.7. And I think that's all we're going to do for now. Do a couple colors of the mild liner. All right. Now for the pen test. So this is a calligraph. I'm not going to try to calligraph. I'm not going to write fancy. So we have the calligraph. We have the Sharpie S Gel, which is a 0.7. We have, this is the Energel Clena. It's in with a brown ink, but it's a 0.5. This is the Energel, this is 0.5, right? Energel 0.5. I think this is a 0.52. Sarasa, is this the Mark On? Mark On 0.5. Let's get a 0.7 in here. Get something juicy. This is the Zebra Blend. That's a 0.7. The Papermate Flare. This is the Calm. I think this is a ballpoint. And that's a 0.7. We have my Uni Pin. This is the 0.3. Le Pen, more of a soft tip marker. Let's do a Tombow. This color is the 992. And then we've got Zebra Mild Liner. There's a pink color and a blue color. And I know someone's going to ask, so let me just say this is dark blue. Looks like cornflower to me. And this one is in Japanese, but it's like a soft pink color. So we're just going to say pink, even though I know that's not what that is. You guys ready? So here's our colors. Now this is a soft pad, so we've got some indentation, but that looks pretty darn good. Barely ghosting up here with the, honestly, decently dark calligraph in Under the Stars. I deliberately did a darker color just to test it. Barely ghosting up there. Zero ghosting on all of the pens, including, let's just do this again. I feel like the flare a little bit of indenting again because of my tabletop. Zero ghosting. Zero ghosting, zero bleeding on all the pens except for the dark calligraph up at the top. Minimal ghosting. So there's your pen test right there. I think it looks pretty darn good. And I'm presuming that this back page is the same paper. It feels like the same paper as the rest of the planner. So the Day Designer paper, thumbs up from me with all of these different kinds of pens. All right, friends, if you have any questions, leave them down below. What do you guys think of the two sizes? What do you think? And are you more of a pebbled texture vegan leather cover or the Bookcloth? I gotta say, I thought I was gonna like this one more, but this one's sexy. This Bookcloth cover, I don't know if it's coated. It does feel coated in that I think it's probably wipeable if you drop something on it. I can't guarantee that though, and I don't know. It doesn't feel super clothy and absorbable. And this, not as pebbled as I thought it would be, but still feels really, really nice. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Come hang out with me over on Instagram. My handle is The Joyful Sojourn. I will leave links to these products down in the description box. And if you want to see more of the planners that I am reviewing on my channel, As of the time of this video, I did a count of the number of videos that will be in my lookbook series this year. There's gonna be at least 20 videos, I think. There's a lot, and it's not meant to confuse you. It's meant to be helpful and just entertainment. You might already have your planners picked for 2026, and this is just like hanging out and seeing what's out there. That's cool too. But I do hope that this ends up being a really solid resource for you as you figure out what planner is for you in 2026. So I will leave my complete playlist down in the description box in case you've missed any of the videos that I have put up so far. We're just getting started. This video is one of the earlier ones in the lineup, so definitely stick around. I think you can follow playlists. I might be wrong. Someone let me know. Did you follow my playlist, or are you just subscribed and you have notifications turned on my my YouTube channel? Let me know. All right, friends, until next time, God bless you. God bless you and keep you. Do something creative today. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.